श्रीमते रामानुजाय नमः। श्रीमते विश्वक्सेनाय नमः। Lakshmiyai namaha, Harayai namaha. So, in this video, I would like to talk about Bhagavad Gita 2.12, particularly Ramanuja having so much fun with Shankaras in the commentary to that verse. This video was prompted by a comment to an earlier video I had made. See, there is this person called Chekila Venkatesh who calls himself a Vedanta Acharya, who is associated with Abrahamism Foundation of Sringeri Sharda Pitha, who teaches Shad Darshanas, supposed to teach Shad Darshanas for them, and lies about, totally misrepresents, totally lies about Vaikhanasa Darshana. He cannot read Brahmasutra Bhashya of Ramanuja, a particular Adhikarana, Utpatti Sambhava Adhikarana properly. He misrepresents that. He fools his followers. He lies about Pancharatra. He makes up verses from Brahmasutras, from Harivamsha, Mahabharata, Vishnu Purana. Such a fraud and a liar. Okay. So, the video was about that. However, a commentator who seems to be a follower of Chekila Venkatesh said, please make a video to address Imperumana Ramanujacharya's Bhashya, note the mocking, on 2.12, which was critiqued by Chekila Venkatesh. So, all the adjectives Imperumana are Sri Ramanujacharya, and no adjectives for the liar and the fraud Chekila Venkatesh. Okay, so the sarcasm is well noted. And I noted it and I told him that I can't spare even 4 minutes for that fraud. If you notice other frauds which I have not noticed, please let me know. And then he clarified more respectably what his doubts are. So he says that Ramanuja gives lengthy arguments to dismiss Upadhi theory and ignorance of Advaitins, and thereby concludes that the difference between Atman and Paramatman is real. Alright. So, first of all, I would like to make something very clear. If you look at the shloka, first let us look at the shloka. Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadhipaha na chaiva na bhavishyamah sarve vayamatah param. So, Krishna is saying clearly, I was never not there. Never were you not there. Never were these kings which you see in front of you not there. They were always there. Not only that, na chaiva na bhavishyamah. There will never be a point in time where I and you and these kings will not be there. We will always be there. We were always there. We are eternal. And we are many. This is clearly said in the shloka. Sarve vayam atah param. All of us will always be there. We were always there. We are distinct entities. Note the plural usage. This is being said by Krishna to Arjuna, who is in a distressed state and who is confused. So Krishna is telling the facts as they are to Arjuna. Right? So this is the shloka. It is so clear. Anyone, you pick up a person from street and tell him, will there be, according to this shloka, will there be a time after so-called moksha when when the jivas will not exist? The answer will be no, because it clearly says, na chaiva na bhavishyamah, we will always be there, sarvada bhavishyamah. Alright, so actually, if you look at Ramanuja's commentary to this thing, the commentary is only this portion, okay, from here to here. I have made multiple lines, so it's actually 1 sentence, 2 sentences, 3, 4, 4 sentences, only 4 sentences commentary. Then starts the mocking and the, dismissal of Shankaran theory. Okay, the Shankarans think that there is only one Atma, and that Atma appears to be many in the Vyavaharika realm because of something called avidya. Now, first of all, Ramanuja clarifies, evam bhavatah sarveshvara atmanam parasparam cha bhedah paramarthika iti bhagavataiva oktam iti pratiyate. So first of all, he says See, it is so obvious that Bhagavan himself is saying that there are multiplicity of Atmans and not one. Ajnanamohitam prati tad nivrittaye paramarthika nityatvopadesha samaye aham tvam ime vayam sarve vayam iti vyapadeshat. Okay, so this he's explaining the reason for the previous statement. Because in the state when Bhagavan is explaining to Arjuna the concept that Atma is Nitya, eternal, right? In this serious context, it is not Vyavaharika context or anything like that. Serious tattva-jnAna is being communicated to Arjuna. In that context, where Nityatva is being communicated, which you also admit, which you shANkarans also admit, there Bhagavan is using aham tvam me sarve vayam ityadi. So it clearly talks about multiplicity of Atmans. Now, what does Sri Naveen ji say? He says that Shankara says that the term Vayam is used only with respect to bodies and not with the self. Okay, Shankara can make up all sort of funny things, but does it stand to reason? Let us examine. Now, is a body eternal? No, a body is not eternal. Even Shankara admits that. And aham tvam ime sarve vayam, all this refers to something which is eternal. Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadhipaha na chaiva na bhavishyamaha. So he's saying multiple entities are eternal. Bodies can't be those entities. So you are wrong. If Shankara is saying that, he's making a fool of himself. And people who are regurgitating his statements are saying our Acharya is a fool. Because a body is not eternal. Shankara admits that. And rAmAnuja also agrees that body is not eternal. He's correctly understanding that Krishna is talking about Atmans and they are multiple, and they are multiple forever. They are multiple. They have always been multiple. Okay, so that takes care of that. And then he says, औपाधिकात्मभेदवादेहि आत्मभेदस्य अतात्विकत्वेन तत्वोपदेशसमये भेदनिर्देशो न संगच्छते. So rAmAnuja is pointing out the inconsistency in the Shankara understanding of this verse. Okay, so you say that there is only one Atma, and you say that Krishna is communicating the eternity of Jiva to Arjuna. So he is removing Arjuna's ignorance, but you are saying that while doing so in this serious context, Krishna is mixing up falsehood, things he knows is false, like Aupadhikatma Bheda, which is not Paramarthika, which is only transactional knowledge, which is not ultimately true, is being communicated by Krishna to Arjuna in this context of removing his ignorance. Does it make sense? That's the question he asks. Then he points out rather seriously, okay, not only here, Shruti is very clear that there are multiplicity of Atmans and Jivas, and they are different from Brahman. Nityo nityanam chetanam eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman. One Ishvara, many Jivas. That's what Shvetashvataropanishad says. And now begins, I think, the fun. Okay, so the actual commentary of the verse by rAmAnuja is only this much, and this much was pointing out how much why Shankara's commentary or the Shankaran view of there being multiple jivas doesn't fit with this verse. So what was said here, rAmAnuja gives lengthy arguments to dismiss Upadhi theory and ignorance concepts of Advaitins. Okay, so I should make it clear that here only this much, not lengthy, this is not lengthy at all, This is the only part which is used to dismiss the Advaitin concept of there being only one Atma, only one Jiva, and so on, and that being same as Paramatma, and so on. So it is not lengthy at all. What is lengthy is what follows. It is really funny. So this much is all about pointing out how nonsensical the Shankaran view, Shankaracharya's view of Jivas, their number, and so on is. It is pure fun. Is it proper for a sannyasi, a virakta like rAmAnuja to have so much fun? That will leave it to you to decide, people who are educated in Dharmashastras at least. But let us see and let us share in that fun. Okay. Now, if you say there is only one Atma, and if you say that you are a realized person who has realized that there is only one Atma, why are you giving these upadeshas? To whom are you giving these upadeshas? Do you have no other work? You say that you have done sarvakarma sannyasa, which means you have given up all obligations, all responsibilities, everything. Why the hell are you running the Sringeri Matha? Why are you encouraging people to form this Aham Brahmasmi Foundation, where fraudsters and liars like Chikalam Venkatesh find a refuge to teach Shad Darshanas to innocent people? So this doesn't make sense. So that is the core of the objection, which which rAmAnuja makes with multiple very entertaining examples. Now, okay. So first, let us see. So one example he gives is this: Marichika jalagjnanadikam hi badhitam anuvartamanamapi na jalaharanadi pravritti hetuh. Okay, let us see. Let us consider the example of a person who has seen a mirage. A mirage. Let us, maybe people are not familiar with it, but so let me put it up. Mirage. Okay, images. Okay, so these are, so you see that there appears to be water at a distance. So not the mirage fighters. Okay, desert mirage. Okay, this is better. So there appears to be water here, but there is no water there. There appears to be water here. There really is no water there. It is only a trick of light. A person who is experienced with deserts understands that, okay, that is not water, I'm thirsty, but that's not water, it is only a mirage. Now, once you know it is a mirage, do you still go there and fetch water? No, you don't do that. If you are a sane person, you don't do that. However, what do these Advaitin shANkarans do? Even though they know that there is a mirage, it is not true. I mean, there is only one Atman. There is no multiple Atmans. There is no Guru, no Shishya, no Ishvara. There is only one entity. Even if you know this, then why are you doing this upadesha? Why are you building this Sringeri Matha and so on? All this drama. Why? Because unlike why don't you behave like a normal sane person who, understanding a previous false knowledge, who corrects it by proper better behavior, right? It is so inconsistent. And so let us see what other fun he has with the shANkarans. Okay, so in the middle he seems to take a break. He provides some serious arguments. Okay, so you say that because after getting enlightenment or whatever, after getting proper knowledge of only there being one Atma, ekatmata-jnana, then there is no the previous appearance of knowledge of there being multiple Atmans, multiple entities has been invalidated. You behave differently, right? But this theory has a problem, because you can't assume that Ishvara at one point in time had had ignorance, thought that there were multiple Atmans, and then suddenly got knowledge that there is only one Atman. It can't be true, because there are pramanas from Shrutis like yes sarvagatas, yes sarvagya sarvavit, all knowing. Parasya shaktir vividhaiva shruyate svabhaviki jnana balakriya cha Shvetashvatara Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. So Ishvara can't be a person who has a bheda-shruti. So Ishvara himself, Krishna in this case, Ishvara himself knows that there is according to you, Ishvara himself already knows that there is only one Atma. So there is not even the question of this knowledge being overcome, such as a person looking at a mirage and then realizing that it is a mirage. Not even that is the case. Even so, you're saying that Ishvara is doing this idiotic thing of giving upadesha to Arjuna. It is like saying a person who is looking at a mirage, he is not a person who goes to the mirage and then realizes that it is a mirage. No, he already knows that it is a mirage and still goes to fetch water from it and still tells other people there is water. Does it make any sense? No sense. Nonsensical. And that's not the end of it. There is another example he gives. Kimcha परमपुरुषश्चेदानीन्तन गुरुपरम्परा च अद्वितीयात्मस्वरूपनिश्चये सत्यनुवर्तमानेऽपि भेदज्ञाने स्वनिश्चयानुरूपम् अद्वितीयम् आत्मज्ञानं कस्मै उपदिशति इति वक्तव्यम्. To whom is this being communicated? There is no Shishya. Who are you communicating to? Now, here he gives a funny example. This is the point. So far, this was just the build-up. The actual joke is here. Okay. Pratipimbavat pratiyamaneebhyorjunadibhya iti chet na naitadupapadyate. If you say, okay, this Krishna is communicating all this to the Arjuna and so on, who appear to be existing. If you say this, that doesn't fit, that doesn't make sense as well. How does it not make sense? Okay, let us see. Now, Manikrupana darpanadishu pratiyamaneshu svatma pratibimbeshu nahi anunmattah kopi tesham svatmano ananyatvam janan tebhyah kamapyartham upadishati. Okay, let us see. And a picture will be useful here. Person looking at a mirror. Okay, so take this person who is looking at a mirror. All right. Now, this person knows that there is no other person. There is no different person here. He is the same person. And if he is not a anunmattah, if he is not a mad person, would he be talking to this person as if he is a different person? Would he be giving upadesha to him? Does it make any sense? And we are talking about Ishvara here. And what applies to Ishvara also applies to your Shankaracharyas, your Chaklam Venkateshas and so on. Does it make any sense to give upadesha, to write all these commentaries, to argue with people like me about why your tattva is correct, when you already understand that there is only one Atman and you already are aware that all this distinction is illusory? Does it make any sense? No, it does not make any sense. So that is another joke he had. Now, so he makes another joke. Let us close with that, I suppose. Dvichandra jnanadau tu chandraikatva jnanena paramarthika timiradi doshasya dvichandra jnana hetor avinashtatvat badhita anuvrittir yukta. Okay, suppose one sees 2 moons let us see. Suppose one sees two moons. There appear to be two moons. It could be because you have eyesight problem. If you have eyesight problem, you can maybe see two moons. You can you feel the vision is blurry. For example, if I remove my spectacles, I have such problem. You know that you have a problem, and even if you know that you have such a problem, you can't help it. You see two things, so you are aware of there being only one entity, but you are seeing two things, right? So even if that is the case, would it make sense? Even though the illusion persists, would it make sense to act as if there are two entities? Anuvartamanamapi prabala pramana badhitatvena akinchitkaram. If you are a sane person, if you know that there is only one moon, would you go and tell other people that there are two moons? Oh, there are two moons, because you know that you're seeing your sight is mistaken. So if you say that this Krishna is mistaken in there being multiple entities, in there being Arjuna and so on, and if this mistake persists despite Krishna, because of him being so helpless under the influence of avidya, maya or so on, or if you don't like to take Krishna, you take your Shankaracharya or your Advaitin, typical Advaitin there. If you know that there is only one entity, and if despite knowing that this illusion of there being multiple entities continues, would you still act as if there are would you still tell others that there are multiple entities? It doesn't make sense, no? Just as the person who knows that he is undergoing an illusion by seeing two moons, he doesn't tell everyone that, oh, there are two moons. Similarly, you would expect a sane person to act, who is not a mad person. Okay, so that doesn't make sense, right? So that's what is being said here. Or otherwise, atah sarveshwarasya idanintana guru paramparayascha tattva-jnanam asti chet bheda-darshana tad karyopadeshadya sambhava. Therefore, so he concludes finally, after having so much fun, if really your guru parampara, your Shringeri pitha, that pitha, this pitha, this guru, that guru, if they all have tattva-jnana, then their teaching others does not make sense at all. That's what he says. And on top of that, you're saying that they are doing sarva karma sannyasa, they have relinquished all responsibilities, yet they run mathas and travel everywhere and do upadeshas and spread fake stories too, like there being an idol of Shankaracharya in Tirupati and so on. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So you should admit that they don't have tattva-jnana, and in that case, bheda-darshanam asti iti chet ajnanasya tadhetoho sthitatvena ajyatvat sutaram upadesho na sambhavati. If you say, okay, they have this sense that there is bheda in the world, you are admitting that they have ajnana. All right, if they have ajnana, and if they are behaving as if they have ajnana, then their upadesha doesn't make sense in that case as well, because they are ignorant fools, because they think that there is bheda, and act as if there is bheda according to their philosophy. So this is all the fun he has, rAmAnuja has, with the Advaitin concepts in here. And kincha guror advitiyatma vijnanadeva brahmajnanasya sakaryasya vinashtatvat shishyam prati upadesho nishprayojanaha. Even if he gives upadesha to shishya, it is useless, because he has already removed ignorance. Who is he helping? No, there is no one. Okay, so all this mocking of Shankaras is the rest of the thing. Really, the dismissal of Shankara Bhashya is not much here, as I showed earlier. All this starting from, I suppose, all these lines is only mocking Shankaran philosophy. Now, let us go back to the comment which triggered this video. Okay. rAmAnuja seems to make a statement that the self is forever different. Yes, obviously, Krishna makes that difference, not rAmAnuja. He is only repeating that. Even if knowledge dawns on Jiva, thereby making Jiva an eternal servitor. This is Abrahamic. How idiotic is this? Is the characteristic of Abrahamic religion the fact that there are multiplicity of Jivas? That Jiva is subservient to God? Is that the characteristic of Abrahamic, or is it there being only one God? There being only one jealous God who does not tolerate the adoration of other gods, who commits genocide of people who don't agree that there are other ways of adoring the divine. Is that the characteristic of Abrahamism? Or are you so stupid as to think that just the belief in God, just the belief in the existence of a Jiva separate from God is the lakshana of being an Abrahamic religion? Also, what is this disgust you have with just the term Abrahamic, that you have to be the polar opposite of Abrahamic religion in every aspect? Now, just because the Abrahamic religion, in the Abrahamic religions, there are constraints on marriage, on women, on their behavior, and so on, does it mean that we have to suddenly be the polar opposite of that and become transgenders? Say that there are 100 genders, propose sex change operations for little children. Do we have to be the polar opposite of Abrahamic religions? No, it does not make sense. So this is not an argument at all. Even the Abrahamic religions, where did they come from? They came from pagan religions only. Their predecessors, they copied all the structures, even all the institutions from the Buddhists, from the Arabian pagans, from the Judaic pagans, from the Egyptians, from the Persians, and so on. So their good concepts are not their own inventions. They're borrowed from other pre-existing Deva Pujaka cultures, just like us, who had access to the truth, who were not twisted. So this is not a proper argument at all. So proceeding further, so it is a funny but wrong argument. Moreover, if the difference is real, then it contradicts Gita. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktamiva cha sthitam. Okay, so let us look at that verse. He's saying that multiplicity. So the argument is like this. Okay, you are saying that in this verse, Krishna is clearly indicating that there are multiple entities. All right, it is clearly said here. Now, if you are taking Krishna's word seriously here, you should also take Krishna's words seriously elsewhere, where he said, Abhibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktam iva cha sthitam bhuta bhartru cha tatcheyam rasishnu prabha vishnu cha. Okay, if you take, there are multiple entities according to this verse. Alright, then you should take this verse also equally seriously. It doesn't make sense to privilege this over that. Well, I 100% agree with you. The problem with Advaitins, shANkaran Advaitins, is that they privilege statements like this over statements like this. And the problem with Madhva Dvaitins is that they privilege statements like this over statements like this, maybe. Like this. I'm not saying this, like this. So, in one case, you have a text, right? You have bheda-shruti, which specify that there are two entities, multiple entities, not one entity. There is a separation between Jiva and Ishvara. And there are other statements which say that Ishvara and Jiva are same. Those are abheda-shrutis. Bheda-shrutis, abheda-shrutis. Now, some people, because of their prior vasanas or whatever, they privilege bheda-shrutis and say that abheda-shruti is gauna. That's what the Dvaitins do. And there are other people, such as the shANkarans, who says in the same text, you take the abheda-shrutis abheda vakyas and say that that is the ultimate truth, the bheda-shrutis are not the ultimate truth. No, this is an imposition of your preconceived ideas on the text by privileging one portion, not privileging another portion, and so on. However, proper honest analysis of text would not do that. It will give equal weightage to both bheda-shrutis and abheda-shrutis and reconcile them. And reconcile them how? Not by your own imagination, your own yuktis, which are fallible, but by the path shown by the shrutis themselves. So the text itself shows how these apparently contradictory statements have to be reconciled. We use that. So that is those are the ghaTikA-shrutis, which yasya prithvi shariram, yasya atma shariram, and so on. The sharira shariri bhava shruti itself says how to reconcile the bheda-shrutis and abheda-shrutis. So anyway, is Ramanuja making that kind of error here? Is Ramanuja ignoring this and saying that there is a multiplicity of Atmans based on this? No, he does not say that. Because let us look at this verse. Avibhaktancha bhuteshu avibhaktam ivascha sthitam. So this is the kshetra yoga chapter. It is talking about the jivatma in multiple bodies. Now, what does this mean? Avibhaktancha bhuteshu atma vastu, atma tattvam. The category called Atma, not the vyakti called Atma. The jati Atma is not subcategorized. It is not divided among the bhutas, among the different bodies. Now, I have a manushya body, a male body. Someone has a female body. Someone has a child body. Someone has an old man body. Someone has a devata body. Someone has a rakshasa body. However, in all these bodies, yeshu sarveshu bhuteshu atma tattvam, atma jatihi avibhakta asti, avibhaktosti, avibhaktam asti, atma tattvam avibhaktam asti. It is not divided into subcategories. However, if you take that atma vyakti avibhaktam asti in different shariras, it doesn't fit with this earlier words of which clearly express plurality, and therefore that interpretation would not make any sense, right? You will have to invent, you will have to create things which are not mentioned, such as vyavaharika satta, paramarthika satta, there being an apparent atma rather than there being a single atma, and so on. You will have to make up all sort of cock and bull stories. You have to create your own world. You have to say there is a nirguna brahma and there is a saguna brahma, even though the Upanishads say there is ekameva advitiyam brahma. And you should be so conceited as to say athato brahma jigyasa refers to Brahma. However, janmadyasya yatah refers to saguna Brahma. You have to make all sorts of such gimmicks to justify yourself. If you take this statement to refer to a vyakti rather than a jati, rather than the tattva, right? And this what I just said, avibhaktam cha bhuteshu atma tattvam vibhaktam iva sthitam. So atma tattva, even though it is not subcategorized, even though the category called atma is not subcategorized into devatma, manushyatma, shudratma, brahmanatma, striyatma, purushatma, balatma, vruddhatma, and so on, it appears to be so categorized. If so, this is the proper understanding of this verse. There is no contradiction over this. There is no. This is the direct meaning. This is not a convoluted meaning. Because if someone says the Holstein cow, you know what a Holstein cow is? The Holstein cow is not subcategorized among all the regions of India, right? Okay, let us just to make sure that my pronunciation is properly caught. Let us Holstein cow. Okay, so this is the Holstein cow, the modern Indian cow, unfortunately. So you go to Bengal, you go to Bihar, you go to Kerala, you go to Karnataka, you get Holstein cow like this. The Holstein cow in different parts of India is not subcategorized. In this statement, does the Holstein cow mean the category Holstein cow or a particular Holstein cow? It obviously means a category. That's the same thing here. The technical term for this in Sanskrit is jAtyekavachanam. You can look it up. It is a very common term. There is no invention, no torture of the verse or anything. There is no privileging of this verse over that. Both are correct. Both are equally correct. One is not more correct than the other, as the conceited, twisted shANkarans make it out to be. Much to the amusement of rAmAnujiyas and so on. So that was all I had today. Is there anything else I missed in the comment? Let me look it up quickly. Okay. So, therefore, as far as 2.12 is concerned, your explanation of refutation of Shankara by rAmAnuja and agreement, if any, with Shankara would be highly appreciated. So I hope that this explanation was useful. While sharing rAmAnuja's fun with Shankara's so-called philosophy, if I misstepped, if I spoke things which were not to be spoken among friends, among well-meaning friends, please forgive me. I was just going with the flow. Thank you very much. Namaste.